Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. It's very kind of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am, look, I am truly honored and I'm humbled and I feel extremely privileged to have the opportunity to lead this movement for the next 4 years, but more important than that, to serve this movement for the next 4 years, to serve the 2.5 million members that we collectively represent in this state. And I want to thank you for that. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for that. And I know that leadership is not about words, it's about deeds and actions. So I can pledge to you today that I will work as hard as I can, as long as I can, as many hours of the day that I can, through deed and action, every week, day, month, and year for the next 4 years, to reward all of you for the faith and confidence you've shown in me today. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Thank you so very much. I want to thank our executive board. I said it before. They work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They all have day jobs, and they all represent all of you, but they are here to chart a course for the future of this state, and I want to thank them for what they do each and every day, and congratulations to all of you. Thank you, and congratulations. Again, I want to thank Terry, and I'll have more to say about Terry tomorrow when he gives his remarks, but you can't do this job unless you have someone who you can really trust to always have your back. And Terry, I thank you for that. I really do. Thank you very, very much. Let's hear it for Terry. And I want to thank the staff at the state AFL-CIO. You know, I worked on staff for 19 years before I had this job, and staff sometimes doesn't get a lot of, or as much credit as they really deserve. And I really want to say we have the best staff by far of any of the 50 state federations in this country. They work hard to make us all look good. They work hard each and every day, legislatively, politically, grassroots-wise, communications-wise, everything that we do inside and outside of the building to make sure that we continue to be the strongest and most successful state labor federation in this country. Let's hear it for everybody who works on staff at the state AFL-CIO. They deserve it. They really do. I got to tell you, the most important thing about this convention, is the unity, the solidarity, and the shared sense of purpose we all have in this room. You see, this is who we are as a labor movement. This is what we are as a labor movement. When we are at our best, when we are hitting on all cylinders, when we are successful, we are active, we participate like we're doing here, we educate ourselves on the issues, and as a result of all those things, we make our voices heard. And I have no doubt that when we leave this convention hall tomorrow afternoon and we go back across the state, we are going to make our voices heard through the 2.5 million members of the state AFL-CIO. And the most important thing is that we are making the most of the 2.5 million members we have. We are making the most of this movement. You know, it's really interesting. We have 2.5 million members in the state. We have 3,000 local unions. We represent 24.7% of the workforce, highest in the country, twice the national average. And last year, for the year ending 2015, brothers and sisters, we had a net gain of 60,000 new union members in the state of New York. That's amazing. And it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen anywhere else across the country. And that's not a slight to the other 49 states and our brothers and sisters. What it means is that we have an environment, we have a culture in this state where non-union members can actually literally see union members. They can see the benefit and the value of being a member, better wages, benefits, and conditions of employment. That's what it is that we fight about, and that must always be our priority, because brothers and sisters, when we do join together and stand together, as we said before, our track record of success is unprecedented. Let me just tell you something. I've worked here for 24 years, and we've always done relatively well. But in the last 4 years, since we stood in this hall in 2012, we pledged the same things we're going to pledge today. We pledged to join together, public sector, private sector, building trades, upstate, mid-state, downstate. We pledged to work together. We pledged to be successful together. Well, over the last 4 years, legislatively, politically, grassroots-wise, and otherwise, we have had more success collectively than ever before. So what I want to do quickly is I'm going to read some of the collective victories that we've had in this movement just over the last 4 years. Now, this doesn't include any of your specific victories for your unions. Those are your victories, the victories that you fought for on behalf of your members. I'm going to read in no particular order Legislative, political, and grassroots victories that together, brothers and sisters, we achieved since 2012, the last time we met. The Saving the ALCOA plant. Your efforts made a tremendous difference in Messina, where we saved 600 steelworkers' jobs at the ALCOA plant. All sectors worked together in that community. Who did that, brothers and sisters? We did that. Who did that? Brothers and sisters, 2 weeks ago, we saved more than 600 jobs at the FITZPATRICK nuclear plant. Hundreds of middle-class jobs were saved in Oswego. Public sector, private sector, and building trades working together. Who did that? Brothers and sisters, payroll card protections. We secured the highest and strongest protections in the country for workers paid by payroll cards. Casino amendment. We passed a constitutional amendment for casino gaming that includes labor peace to create good jobs, and union members voted 10% higher than non-union members. The land swap agreement, that amendment the same year resulted in a land swap in the Adirondacks to protect 100 jobs of our steel workers. Brothers and sisters, union members voted 17 points higher than non-union members. Together, we successfully convinced the National Labor Relations Board to keep the Buffalo Regional Office open from closing down and moving to Pennsylvania, and that office serves 51 of the 62 counties in the state of New York. Who did that? Brothers and sisters, we defeated. There's a lot of bad stuff that could possibly happen when you're in Albany, and we defeated a couple of issues. Pension forfeiture. The proposed amendment leaves basic pension protections in place for rank-and-file public sector workers. We defeated what would have set a precedent to reduce public sector pensions. Brothers and sisters, we can never and we will never allow that to happen. Who did that? We defeated an effort to strip collective bargaining rights from so-called underperforming schools. We soundly defeated this thanks to the solidarity of the entire labor movement, because, brothers and sisters, again, we cannot and we will never allow anyone or anything to undermine our collective bargaining rights in this state. Who did that? The scaffold law. Brothers and sisters, they come after the scaffold law every year. It's the first words out of anybody's mouth anytime they want to come at us. We were able to continue to resist perennial efforts to roll it back, and we're going to continue to do so. Workers' compensation this year. Brothers and sisters, we were able to prevent changes to the workers' comp system that would have reduced benefits for injured workers and lengthened the time it takes to get treatment. We couldn't allow it. Cap on binding arbitration. These proposals were rejected and the current binding arbitration law was left in place. Child care facilitated enrollment. This program was expanded to allow more working men and women who are low income but above the poverty level access to child care, helping countless working families. Workforce development, CWE, Murphy Institute, Cornell, and NICOSH. Over 4 years, brothers and sisters, we've worked to get $100 million in funding for education and training, health and safety, as well as union leadership programs. Legislative victories on a federal level. Brothers and sisters, the ZADROGA 9/11 Health and Compensation Act. Congress included it and perfectly and permanently reauthorized it. It took 14 years, but brothers and sisters, we did it for our heroes. Who did that? Brothers and sisters, Hurricane Sandy, only labor's coordinated efforts. We got $50 billion in funding to rebuild after Hurricane Sandy. We did that together. We increased unemployment insurance benefits and we indexed it for the first time in 15 years. It goes to 50% of the average weekly wage, brothers and sisters. It raises the benefit by 78% over 13 years, and we make sure we'll never have to come through it again because we indexed it. Who did that? Commercial Goods and Transportation Fair Act. This law makes sure drivers and transportation workers are eligible to join unions and are entitled to other benefits and rights of employers in the private sector by tightening the definition of independent contractors. Wage theft enforcement. In 2014, we improved enforcement of the state's wage theft laws by dramatically increasing penalties for first-time and repeat offenders. Medical marijuana, labor peace that ensures workers will have the right to organize, was included in the creation of this new industry. Safe patient handling. This bill, for the first time, requires every hospital and nursing home to institute a safe patient handling to protect the safety of workers in all of those facilities. Brothers and sisters, we worked on that for 15 years together. Who did that? Women's equality agenda. We want important improvements for women in the workplace. passage of a pay equity bill to make sure that women are paid on par with men doing similar work. Who did that? Nail salon workers. Our fight to organize new workers stood up. We stood up for them and those who do not have a voice of their own, brothers and sisters. And we took a big step when we won health and safety and basic labor protections for nail salon workers. IDA reform. Again, 15 years on our legislative agenda. Brothers and sisters, we won comprehensive changes that will result in better oversight, accountability, and the ability to reclaim our tax dollars that go to a business that failed to live up to job creation promises. Brothers and sisters, we stood in this hall 4 years ago and we passed a resolution for the Murphy Institute at our 2012 convention to secure funds to support a labor college. Brothers and sisters, CUNY has signed off on its creation. This will institutionalize the labor movement within our higher educational structure. We came together in this hall. Who did that? Veterans buyback. This year, brothers and sisters, we finally got a bill passed for all veterans who served at any time and are eligible to purchase up to 3 years of retirement credit in recognition of their service, because we know that there is no greater service than public service. Who did that? Brothers and sisters, paid family leave. This was included on our legislative agenda for more than 10 years, and brothers and sisters, finally, we passed it, winning the best benefit in the nation so workers can take time off for take care of a sick family member or nurture a newborn child. 421A. Brothers and sisters, we joined together to make sure our elected officials understand that wage standards that enable union construction must be part of any affordable housing agreement. We passed a resolution together. Brothers and sisters, who did that? And finally, brothers and sisters, the fight for 15. New York has now lead the way nationally in the fight for economic justice, not only for our members, but for all private sector workers in raising the minimum wage. Who did that? Brothers and sisters, that's just 4 years of victories. That wasn't one union, that was all unions. That wasn't one sector, that was all sectors. That wasn't one of us, that was all of us. That's a 4-year period of time. Give yourselves a round of applause. Be proud of what we've done, and remember, when we strive for greatness, that's what we achieve. Together. Now look, there are always going to be challenges and obstacles. We know that. They're always there. You know, we have the highest rate of income inequality still in this state of any state in the country. The greatest gap between the haves and the have-nots. We have to close that gap. Minimum wage helps, paid family leave helps, 421A helps. But brothers and sisters, we have to do more. We will do more. We have to do that together over the next 4 years. Brothers and sisters, we have to adapt to an ever-changing world. You know, social media changes daily. Communication systems change daily. Brothers and sisters, we have to stay ahead of the curve. Our members literally get news items and news information from hundreds, if not thousands, of different media outlets. Brothers and sisters, they're getting information on our issues from our opponents and our adversaries. We cannot allow that. Brothers and sisters, we have to make sure that they get our information from us, first, last, and everywhere in between, if we're going to continue to motivate them and educate them to do the things that we do. Court cases. Brothers and sisters, Friedrichs came and went. We got away with one. But I want to say this. First of all, I want to thank all of you. I know how hard all of you worked to educate your members, to make sure that they continue to understand why it's important to be a member of a union, why it's important to pay dues. I want to thank you for that. I saw it firsthand. But let's make no mistake about it. There are dozens of cases in the pipeline for when the Supreme Court eventually comes back with a full house. And just keep in mind, it's not just public sectors and their voice. There are going to be issues about Davis-Bacon and the right to organize. Brothers and sisters, we must continue to educate our members on why it's so important to be a member of a union and to make their voices heard. And let's keep one thing in mind. Let's keep one thing in mind. The next president of the United States is going to choose at least one, possibly 2 or 3 Supreme Court justices. And brothers and sisters, that president must be Hillary Clinton. That's right, stand, that's right. has to be. It has to be. Let me just say this. Let me just say this. You know, look, there are certain people who somehow still support Donald Trump, and that's their right. It's their right. It's their right. But just remember something. As a labor movement, we are built on a bedrock, a foundation of unity, of solidarity, of shared sense of purpose. We are one family, and if you pick on one of us, you have to deal with all of us. Donald Trump hates everything that I just mentioned and that we stand for. He wants to divide us and segment us and pit us against each other. And brothers and sisters, we cannot allow that. So we have to work to make sure, of course, that Hillary wins this state. But I urge all of you to make sure that our brothers and sisters in battleground states have the resources that they need to make sure that Hillary Clinton is, in fact, our next president of the United States. And the last challenge we have is a big one, and I'm not going to get into all the details now, but brothers and sisters, you realize that next year is 2017, which means we have a constitutional convention that's going to be on the ballot. And let me just say this. That's right. Remember that the labor movement has always been strongly opposed to a constitutional convention, and the reason for that is simple. We have some of the strongest labor protections in our state constitution of any state in the country. Now, if we defeat it next year, it goes away for 20 years. It doesn't come back on the ballot until 2037. They'll deal with it then. But I don't know who's going to be up here. Somebody's going to deal with it. But I want to make sure it's not going to be me. I just want to be clear, brothers and sisters. This is very simple. Public sector, private sector, and building trades. We must have our members vote no. If you're a member of a building trades union, keep in mind, prevailing rate on public works projects is in the Constitution. If you are a public sector member, you know that your pensions cannot be diminished. How long do you think it's going to take the Koch brothers to spend millions of dollars to come in here to try to take your pensions away? First act of business after the first morning of that convention, I guarantee it. And for everybody else in this room, workers' compensation, all of us, unemployment insurance, the 8-hour day, and the right to collectively bargain are in the Constitution. I don't think I have to say any more. Brothers and sisters, we're going to put a concerted strategy together. We've already have it in place. We will unveil it the day after Election Day this year, and brothers and sisters, together, we are going to defeat it, and we're going to tell our members very simply, we have a lot to protect. Vote no. Let me just say this. We're going to be successful. We're going to be successful because we have each other. And because, brothers and sisters, we are a family, even if we don't want to always admit it from time to time. And families come in a lot of different packages. And I know in this hall, we don't all look alike, sound alike, talk alike, nothing sometimes. But brothers and sisters, remember, make no mistake about it, we're a family. Because really, what is a family? And I ask my girls this all the time. Family, you don't have to be blood related to be a family. A family cares about each other, we help each other, right? We protect each other, and we stand up for each other. You pick on one of us, you have to deal with all of us. That's what a family is. Doesn't make a difference if you have the same blood running through your veins. Brothers and sisters, I mean, we don't have to get along all the time. You know, growing up, I didn't get along with my sister all the time. I picked on her. I did. She's here today. We're okay, right, Lenore? By the way, Lenore is a 20-year member of the New York State United Teachers. She's the best teacher I've ever met. But my point is this. My point is this. We all share that common bond to provide a better today and a brighter tomorrow for working men and women. And so, brothers and sisters, in closing, let me just say this. We all know what we're fighting for. You know what we're fighting for. We'd all be fighting for the same things even if we didn't have these jobs. I would, you would, maybe in different capacities. But I'll tell you something. I know exactly what I'm fighting for every single day when I go home at night. And I see it in the eyes of my daughters. You know, we sit around the dinner table every night. We talk about our day. We talk about school. What'd you do at school today? We talk about their friends. We talk about movies. We talk about Taylor Swift. A lot of Taylor Swift. Really, a lot. She's on my iPad. I'm not really sure how she got there. I don't take it off, though. But Kanye, I don't know what's going on with that. But I have to say this. When I look into their eyes, my wife and I, when we look into their eyes every single day, we see exactly what it is that we're fighting for. We see possibility. We see opportunity. We get the sense when you look in their eyes that anything is possible, right? A better education system for them when they grow up, a better healthcare system, better services for all of us, better jobs are waiting for them than I had when I came out of school, with better wages, benefits, and conditions of employment. More of us, not fewer of us, more of us who have defined benefit pensions. And brothers and sisters, when I look into my girls' eyes, I see the future, a better future than I had when I was their age. That's what it is that we're fighting for, that brighter today and a better tomorrow for our families, for our members, and for this movement. We all have that in common. So brothers and sisters, I say to you this, we're going to win these fights, brothers and sisters, because we're fighting for what is right and just and true. And what is right and just and true, brothers and sisters, is that we fight from our heart. Our opponents and our adversaries fight from their wallets. Brothers and sisters, we fight for our families, we fight for this movement. Our opponents fight for bottom line profits. Brothers and sisters, I will take heart over profits every day of the week, because you can't put a price tag on heart. You can't put a price tag on the dedication and commitment we have to one another as union brothers and sisters. We have those things they don't. We win, they lose when we stand together. So brothers and sisters, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Brothers and sisters, again, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank you. I'm going to make you all proud. I promise. I promise. But brothers and sisters, we're going to move forward now. We're going to move forward as one movement, as one family, and brothers and sisters, together, we are going to do great things. Thank you very much. Thank you.